I can't be the only one who feels like these days we're constantly looking through an objective lens to determine what movies are masterpieces and what shows blunder their potential, what games are a must-play and what albums are just a waste of time. We are constantly critiquing mediums that were designed to be subjective and fitting them in the same boxes to try and justify why projects that can't possibly be for everyone are judged as such. It's gotten to a point where if you think that Red Dead Redemption 2 can't be a 10 out of 10 because the gameplay isn't super deep, you're wrong. If you don't like The Dark Knight because it isn't comically accurate, you're wrong. If To Pimp a Butterfly isn't your favorite rap album because you think the way Kendrick says, "Boo boo," and hood politics is annoying, you're wrong. How did we get to this point? Why even is it this way? Let's unpack that today as we discuss the death of subjectivity in media.
Which is why I'm feeling a strong 9 to a 10 on this LP.
The existence of reviews makes a lot of sense. Without them, it's harder to justify taking a risk on, say, going to see a movie that's not from an established IP at the theaters. Decades ago, when reviews were nothing more than a niche hobby the general public didn't pay any mind to, maybe you'd consult a friend who has seen it to gauge if you may like it. That could theoretically save you the trouble of going to see something you don't like. This kind of philosophy is what boosts the appeal of the review, since we don't want to waste our precious time watching or playing something we won't like. Are you on the edge of picking up the new Mario Kart World game? Well, let's just do a quick Google search to Metacritic, where you'll see all the ratings from critics and casual fans alike, with a sentence or two rounding up their thoughts. We can see here both are decently positive, so if you're cool with spending $500 to $530, you could consider picking it up. And what do you know, at the very top you can see other tabs for movies, shows, and music. Oh boy, I love a good consensus to tell me what to think. A common element of reviews are the scores, either a numerical or letter-based grading system that efficiently communicates the opinions of whatever they're reviewing. Grades are a concept we're all too familiar with in this world. Almost all of us have gone to school, so it's easy for us to convey our thoughts and understand others through this simple system. I myself use the 1 through 10 scale, so I understand I will now be criticized for using it and being called a hypocrite because I've just complained about the rating system, which does make sense since the scale inherently prompts an objective reaction out of people. Let me explain. I love Breaking Bad. I know, hot take. Do you know what I love even more? Netflix Daredevil. I give both of these shows a 10 out of 10 rating, which may prompt one of you who has seen both of these shows to think it is absurd to compare these two, when Daredevil Season 2 is often considered by many a mid-season of television, which, not counting Born Again, is 1/3 of that show's total runtime. I still think Season 2 is great, but weaker than most seasons of Breaking Bad, if not all, so how can I like it more? Well, I just do. I love the characters and their dynamics with each other. I can't say 100% that Matt, Foggy, and Karen's dynamic is better or more interesting than one of Walt, Jesse, and Saul's, but I sure as hell do enjoy it better.
Call anonymous. You call anonymously!
A lot of people hold the 10 out of 10 rating for what they deem perfect projects and masterpieces. That's fine, you do you, but my favorite game of all time, Fire Emblem Three Houses, is frankly at points unfinished. But I don't really give a shit. This game made me feel things I didn't know were possible when I first played it back in 2020. That is what I use the rating scale for. A combination of subjective and objective feats of a piece of media that I consume. I'm not completely on the train that there's no objectivity to art. With games it's pretty easy when things just don't work as intended while playing, but the other mediums is where it does start to get kinda tricky. In general though, it's really just based off if I'm vibing with what they're putting into the art, but the reality is, not all art is meant for everyone.
Not super into mobile games, way that makes me not care at all. I'm not an RPG guy, and I'm not a Xenoblade guy, so I'm not really into it at all. I like the Wii.
Over the extensive period of time that we've had these entertainment mediums, we've gradually begun to categorize them into genres. Movies and shows tend to use more simple categories for mainstream appeal like action, adventure, comedy, and fantasy. Games bring you a wide array to accommodate for all the different types of playstyles like platformers, first-person shooters, and RPGs. And then there's albums, which have a whole soundscape to cover and come with the most subgenres. Rock brings pop rock, indie rock, punk rock, etc. Hip-hop and rap have grown to become super extensive from covering this style from the area of the world the artist lives in, incorporating gangsta rap, boom bap, jazz rap, and so much more. But don't get me started on all the bullshit metal subgenres. Atmospheric sludge metal. Thanks, Slipknot.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Point is, we created these genres to help guide someone to where their tastes lie, which is irrefutable proof that we have priorities with the media we consume, but that seems a little too obvious, right? Well, then doesn't it also make just as much sense that we can't love everything that's highly praised in our favorite genres? You can still appreciate something that has universal acclaim without thinking it's the best thing ever. And likewise for something that's generally looked at as just good or even mid or even dog shit. I like some pretty hated stuff. Don't tell any music critic to ever exist, but get this. I love Sleep Token.
I feel like another way you could quantify Sleep Token's vibe is that it's maybe metal for Disney adults.
But get this. I also think Die Lit by Playboi Carti is bad. And I even like Whole Lotta Red slightly more. The problem is these days when someone posts an unpopular opinion like this, some people's first reaction is to just say that they're trying to be different or trying to clickbait. And yeah, I'm sure there's people out there who are doing that, but let's stop acting like just because one person who has some resemblance of a platform disagrees with the common consensus of something, that means they're just another scumbag looking for attention. TikToker Serum recently posted a review for the game Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which has been blowing up in the past few months. Thankfully, all the top comments on the TikTok are quite nice, but the very first comment on his review on an actual video game tracking site is just insulting him for liking Xenoblade. Which, mind you, he gave this game a good rating. A 7 out of 10 rating is good. It's just annoying seeing people this upset over opinions, and I wish we could just all be a little more, I don't know, mature about it. But as sites like these give everyone a voice, I guess it's only inevitable for people like this to pop up.
Casual sex ? I got a boner watching this. Nice movie.
One of my personal favorite things to do is to track all the media I've consumed. Sites like Letterboxd, Backlogged, Serialized, and Album of the Year make it all easy. I find it super satisfying to finish something, then give it my rating, a brief review, and put it in my 2025 list. The appeal of these sites is giving every user an equal voice and opinion of a piece of media's scoring. It's super fun, feel free to follow me on all of them. Letterboxd is by far the most popular of the bunch, with even actors and directors making accounts to show off their thoughts. Naturally, this does lead to a consensus and can sway some people's opinions. If all these people like solo leveling and it won anime of the year, surely I will like it too. I think it's incredibly mid, actually. These sites ultimately have done far more good than harm though, creating communities and exposing people to art we wouldn't have found otherwise. There will always be a general consensus and hot takes and annoying film students telling you why something you like actually sucks. That's just how life is, man, and that's fine. My friend gave an AJR album a 10 out of 10. I will never understand that, but good for him, bro. Another friend of mine rated Hop higher than Harry Potter, The Prisoner of Azkaban. I'm going to kill him. But that's the beauty, isn't it? There is someone out there who prefers Hop, and that's okay. There is someone who can listen to AJR Thirsty Thursday. That'll never be me. but at least there's subjectivity just for that. If you feel like your taste is super in line with what's popular, maybe try expanding your bubble to new genres. Or don't. Like what you like, bro. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Yes, even you Love Island fans, you guys have opinions too.